We are starting now. It is that time of the year again to hand over the baton to the upcoming team of NOGS.
A very good afternoon to everyone. I, Dr. Neeta Gaule,
and I, Dr. Saili Sanklecha,
thank you all for gracing this occasion on the behalf of NOGS. We are very delighted to welcome you all and the dignitaries for this event.
I now request Dr. Varsha Lahade, Dr. Gauri Karandikar, Dr. Pratima Kanade and Dr. Mayuri Kelkar to take their seats on the dais.
I request Dr. Ashutosh Thore, Dr. Archana Khairnar to escort our chief guest Dr. Jaydeep Tank and our guest of honors Dr. Sunil Pandya and Dr. Vijaya Sule to the dais.
We welcome all the dignitaries. No function can start without the traditional auspicious lamp lighting. So I request all the dignitaries to come ahead for lamp lighting.
Dr. Pratima, the outgoing secretary, to present her annual report.
Ma'am, please.
Everyone, my humble pranam to the chief guest for today, Dr. Jaydeep Tank, the guest of honor, Dr. Vijaya Sule and Dr. Pandya, and all respected seniors and dear friends. I first would like to congratulate Dr. Gauri Karandikar ma'am and her new team for starting her tenure with a grand and very informative workshop. And when we witness such successful program, there is always lots of planning, micro-planning and execution, and which takes place much before the time when we witness the program. And so was our tenure. Our tenure started in April, but we have started working much ahead the dates of installation. So the topics for the CMEs, the speakers for the CMEs were decided. The speakers were booked: Dr. Namit Magan, Dr. Krishna Kumar sir, and Dr. Dr. Suresh sir, all the seniors were addressed beforehand, their dates were taken and the programs were planned well in advance. Our President, visionary Dr. Varsha Lahade, she wanted to have a year which is very well planned in advance. All the activities she had planned a year ahead and it was put on paper, and so we had our annual diary of the year for 22-23. With this we started the flight for skills with our logo and the theme for the year. We got officially installed on 16th April. Dr. Krishna Kumar sir was the chief guest, and with blessings of all the seniors, past presidents of the NOGS Society who had worked tirelessly, all were felicitated and we got installed in a grand ceremony at SSK itself. The immediately second day of the installation, we had a live hysteroscopy workshop, which was, the operating faculty was Dr. Krishna Kumar. Sir had operated almost 8 cases back to back in a very well coordinated operative setup at Ashoka Medical Hospital, and the response for the workshop was amazing. With Nashik Radiological Association, we organized CME on fetal growth restriction revisited. Dr. Bimal Sahani, national faculty, was the chief speaker for the program, and we had applied for credit hours, and more than 160 registrations were there for the CME. Cosmetic gynecology. Now, cosmetic gynecology is the newest specialty of gynec, and we wanted to have an elaborate program on cosmetic gynecology so as to introduce this newest subspecialty to our own members, for which we had organized a workshop and a CME. We got an overwhelming response for the workshop as well as CME, and the success of the program was seen in that many of our gynec members from Nashik Gynaec Society went ahead and took a formal training and are now practicing cosmetic gynecology in Nashik. Dr. Navneet Magan had specially come from Delhi for this program. Professor Suresh was there with us for the fetal medicine update, which also we were celebrating the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav because it was planned on 14th August. So we celebrated Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav along with the same CME, and it was also a very well attended program. We had many stalwart speakers and speakers from Mumbai, Pune. Dr. Aparna Sharma from Delhi had given a lecture which was live relayed on the program, during the program. Amongst the few speakers were Dr. Pooja Vazrani, Sachin Nachite, Archana Patil and Prarthana Deshpande. In October, 32 members of our society, along with the International Academic Exchange Committee headed by Dr. Varsha Vaste, went to Turkey, and they made lifelong memories during this time. We got an opportunity to conduct the 5th annual conference of Nashik Obstetrics and Gynaecological Society, in which we had to elaborate workshop. The workshop by Fernandez Hospital. Fernandez Hospital was involved with their dates almost in January. They had given us dates for this workshop, and Dr. Rama, Dr. Jogita and Dr. Shailaja did an excellent job, and we had a very enlightening session during the workshop. The second workshop which we had arranged was the IRD workshop headed by Dr. Pratik Tambe and Dr. Rohan Parshetkar, and almost 20 IVF specialists were coming from Mumbai to deliver cover each and every topic related to IVF. We had an excellent cultural night which everyone knows, with the theme of retro Bollywood, and during this program we had only the Sharmila Tagore, Zeenat Aman, Parveen Babi during the session, and we had a galaxy of stars and had a fun time with all the members together. Lifetime Achievement Award was given to Dr. Dilip Bhamre sir. He is a senior practicing gynecologist from Malegaon, very well deserved faculty for this award. In January, we had the Preventive Oncology CME, in which we had Dr. Priya Ganeshan, Dr. Charulata Vape and Dr. Sneha Buyar, along with the faculties from Nashik, enlightening us from a very important topic. And we learned many things about colposcopy, which Madam gave a hands-on for many of us. Dr. Venkatesh from Bangalore had come for the Gynosur CME, in which the basic concepts in the operative gynecology and obstetrics was covered, along with the Surgical Society of Nashik. These were the orations and the awards covered during our tenure. Ongoing training program were there, in which I think High Risk Pregnancy Club was an ongoing training program for all of members. Along with it, we had the Dhira training program arranged for doctors to prevent violence against women, and 50 doctors were trained. Non-scalpel vasectomy, a very important mode of sterilization, and we were obliged to extend this training program to our members. Almost 6 to 7 members showed their interest in learning this, and we had a great time learning this. During our tenure, we conducted many public awareness activities, like the breastfeeding awareness activity, in which the ASHA workers were trained almost on all the PSC in and around Nashik for the whole 8 days during the week. And for the HIV/AIDS, we had awareness activities conducted in the college, along with presentations and seminars for the students to curb the spread of HIV and educate them. Along with this, cervical cancer detection and anemia detection was also being conducted throughout the year. This was a tree plantation activity in which we distributed 60 plus trees. In anemia and cervical cancer detection, we detected more than 700 women were tested for anemia, and more than 200 women were diagnosed, were screened for cervical cancer by VI. We got many awards and acknowledgement for the work. Our president was honored by V for Stree Puraskar. Also, she was appreciated by the president Foxy, Dr. Rishikesh Pai sir. And during our tenure, we created many memories. This is the best part which we will be taking home. And for this, I thank from the bottom of my heart my president, Dr. Varsha Lahare, who gave me this opportunity. Madam is truly an enigma in herself. She is very enthusiastic and dynamic personality. She is the mind behind the whole year, which we had very well planned, executed, and I have loved working with you, ma'am. Thank you so much. At the outset, I would like to say thank you to all the team of our committee, all the advisors whom we have called for each and everything, and also special thanks to Dr. Nivedita Pawar ma'am for offering her 11th hour help, and Dr. Gauri Karandikar ma'am, who was always there for us. Thank you so much. And last but not the least, we had started our tenure with a very interesting and exciting theme, which we would like to show you. Just a 4-minute clip, hope you enjoy.
That was indeed a fruitful year. I now request Dr. Varsha Lahade, the outgoing president, to address the audience. Ma'am, please.
पसायदान मध्येच बंद करायचं नसतं म्हणून बंद नाही केलं. तुमचा वेळ थोडासा घेतला. सो ॲट द आउटसेट आय जस्ट वॉन्ट टू थँक्यू एव्हरीवन. एवढंच म्हणून कदाचित मी थांबवणार होते. छोट्याशा गोष्टी सांगते आणि संपवते. डिस्टिंग्विश्ड गेस्ट डॉक्टर जयदीप टंक, डॉक्टर पांड्या, डॉक्टर सुले मॅडम, I welcome you for this ceremony of handing over the presidential medal. I would like to begin with saying that it has been a great year for me and my team in OGS 2022 and 23. Looking back in the past 20 months, it has been an exceptionally busy year. Though we were prepared and planned with the planners, at our installation ceremony we were ready with our planner for a year, and we could see the effective outcome of it. Indeed, for all of us, it has been the most eventful period throughout. At times, there were some challenges, but we could overcome them. Today, it is not my intention to list all that we have accomplished. I believe they speak for themselves. Dr. Pratima has done the job. What comes in my mind is first and foremost is strong association and active engagement of my team in OGS. We were united strongly for each and every member as well as for the society, and we conducted the programs. Reflecting on the past 20 months, I have asked myself what would have been better. The answer was nothing. Let me conclude on the note to thank all of my NOGS members, trustees for supporting me. I would like to express my depth of gratitude to all the NOGS members who wholeheartedly supported me throughout the year, and my apologies for asking you to pay for few events because we are now a big society, 350 members, and now we have to go ahead for increasing the revenue of the society and what Gauri has started with her. They are not last but the least, not even least, but many thanks to my NOGS team. I should mention the name. Dr. Pratima, a very, very efficient honorary secretary and very emotional girl, but she has done an immense work. Round of applause to her. She really impressed me by keeping my pace because I'm very fast and I just want the work to be done very fast. So thank you Pratima, thank you very much. My treasurer Dr. Vishram Diwan, throughout the year he showed me the accounts on the lower side. I thank him for that just because I could strive for what is not there आणि त्याच्यामुळे मी खूप काही करू शकले and I struggled for it, and my team of course. My Vice President Dr. Kavita Gadekar, Sushma Bhutada, a very calm and composed, they helped me throughout the year. My Joint Secretary Dr. Madhavi Muthar, she's आमच्या नाशिकची NOGSची कवयित्री आहे आणि तिने खरंच छान काम केलंय. My Clinical Secretary Ajit Tidme has done a fantastic work in hysteroscopy workshop. Dr. Neelambari Desle, Dr. Meenal Randive, Dr. Nivedita Pawar, Dr. Ashwini Pawar, Dr. Swapnanjali Awad, Dr. Anjali Kulkarni, Dr. Sonal Kale, Dr. Chetana Dahivalkar, Dr. Sukanya Kale, and my advisors, Dr. Bamri Madam, Sanklecha Sir, Sukhatme Sir, everyone. Thank you from bottom of my heart for just being there for me. I thank to my family. They are strongly supportive of me for not being there at home for many times. At the end, permit me to express some of my hopes for the future. I wish Dr. Gauri Karandikar and Dr. Mayuri, both Rees, will make it lay bhari. So let's see, she has started it. I firmly believe that the next team will keep the NOGS flag very high. And I just want to conclude saying thank you everyone for bearing me. Thank you.
Thank you ma'am for your wonderful words of guidance. I now request Dr. Gauri Karandikar to felicitate Dr. Varsha Lahadi. now request Dr. Varsha Lahade, the outgoing President, and Dr. Pratima Kanade, the outgoing Secretary, to officially hand over the charge of NOGS to the incoming President and Secretary, Dr. Gauri and Dr. Mayuri. Ma'am, please.
Gauri. Serpent this thing.
Saltanate.
Yes. Yes. Yes, wait, madam. Wait. Thank you. Madam, wait.
So now the moment has arrived when we get to know our incoming President, Dr. Gauri, and who better to do it than Dr. Vrushali Rajadhyaksha. So I call upon Dr. Vrushali to introduce the incoming President.
Grateful for giving me this opportunity to introduce the incoming President, Dr. Gauri Karandikar. You know, I'll not be saying the cliched lines of saying, oh well, she needs no introduction and so on and so forth. But I would rather jump at the opportunity to show you what a multifaceted person we have here today as our President. Now I can't say incoming President, our President. So Dr. Gauri Karandikar, born as the second daughter of Mr. Sudha and Mr. Vishwanath Oak. She was born as Sanjeevani, and that itself, the name itself says so much. This is very nice. Gauri told me something very beautiful about this. Her mother was a teacher by profession. Her father, an engineer with the Indian Railways. Her mother was given the chance to become the headmistress of the school, and she refused it because she did not want to compromise on her job as an administrative head, and neither did she want to compromise on the upbringing of her daughters. Her father, being in the Indian Railways, used to be out often on posting, but always there to guide and support Gauri and her sisters in whatever they did. She learned major life lessons of dedication, perseverance and positivity, not only from her parents, Mr. Sudha and Mr. Vishwanath, but also from Mr. Bhishmaraj Bam and Sudha. Her two sisters, Dr. Mayuri Kelkar, a fetal medicine expert in the UK, and Dr. Vaijayanti Gadre, an ophthalmologist. With both of them, she shares a special bond, and with them there was so much love and laughter in her life as a child. The foundation of her academic excellence was laid at St. Agnes' School in Mumbai, where she was not only the captain of her house, but also topped the school in her 10th standard. She went on to go to Ruya College, again a topper over there, and finally she joined GSA Medical College in Mumbai. Her academic brilliance was guaranteed, and she won gold medals at all levels in her MBBS, in OBGYN as a DGO, and as in her MD. With legendary mentors like Dr. Daftari, Dr. Adi Dastoor, Dr. Matre, Dr. Shyam Desai, success was bound to follow. I mean, there was no doubt about it. But along with her academic excellence, she also participated and was actively involved in her college festival of Avishkar. This is what I was talking about, toppers everywhere, academic excellence everywhere. She got married in 1994 to the now renowned neurosurgeon, Dr. Mahesh, and they have a son, Soham, who is pursuing his IISc in Bangalore. She moved to Nashik in 97 to help her face the trials and tribulations. It must have been a culture shock to move from Mumbai to Nashik. And who better to help her with rather than Dr. Ratnaparkhi, Sule Madam, and Dr. Karandikar. She became the fellow of the Indian College of Obstetrics and Gynaecological way back in 2014. Her Nashik innings has been equally impressive. She was Karandikar Hospital was established in 2003. She also worked from 1997 to 2003 in Chandan Hospital, that was late Dr. Surana's hospital. Karandikar Hospital was established in 2003 and it continues to grow. She has her special passion, adolescent health and PCOS. So there is an interesting story behind this. I asked her, I kept asking her, why adolescent, why Nashik? Why this and why that? She said when she was in school, she was so impressed by all the health talks and all the doctors who were conducting these health talks that she had decided in school that one day she is going to be there giving these talks, and her dream came true. She is a well-known figure in adolescent health all over Nashik, all over the schools of Nashik, talking about the health and giving unstinted support to all the young students in Nashik and around. She has had numerous publications to her name. She has published chapters in textbooks in the COG. She has publications in the Foxy Focus, and she has been the reviewer of the Journal of Foxy. She gives back to society what society gives to her. She's an active participant of violence against women ever since its conception in 2014 at the hands of Dr. Duru Shah, who is and will remain her mentor and guide. She's a master trainer in the Dhira. I hope all of you all have seen this film. She's made a short film on adoption called Khushi. If you have not, please definitely see it. It's on adoption. It's a wonderful look. And imagine more than 2.5 lakh views in 6 months. That's how good it is. Her NOGS journey has been very, very long, and she's really worked hard for NOGS. She has been on the scientific committee way back in the 2000 conference when we had AMOGS in 2000. She has been the secretary with Dr. Bhadupate, and the same year Nashik Society got the Best Society Award. She has also been on the scientific committee in Yuva Foxy and Gestosis. She's been the joint secretary of AMOGS in 2010, and she's been the vice president of NOGS in 2021 under the presidentship of Dr. Shekhar Amle. Her life is full of friends, and she's maintained contact and kept in touch with her school friends. I know it sounds easy, now we have WhatsApp and we have so, but no, the friendship is really deep, and it goes back to before the days of WhatsApp and telephones. Friends, after all, are life. Now this is something very, very interesting. I would like you to be all aware of this aspect of Gauri. She's a poetess. She writes beautifully. So I asked her, what made you write? When she was going through difficult times in 2014, with her parents being unwell, and she had to travel often to Mumbai and back. And that was a time when all negative thoughts are coming to your mind. And then you realize that maybe a time when you have no one to talk to, then what do? And that's where the spirituality and yoga comes in handy. You turn inwards, and that's exactly what she did. She turned inwards and she became her best friend. And this is how she started writing. That is, she's talking to herself and expressing her views. So I think this is a fantastic aspect that is unknown to anybody, and how and why she started this. Did you know that she sings beautifully? In fact, her friends in school call her the Nightingale of Nashik. She has numerous hobbies. She's participated in the Dhol Tasha also with Varsha and me. So that was another, we had a great time at that. And last but not the least, she continues to be a student, did her LLB at the age of 50. So who better than Dr. Gauri Karandikar to lead us for this year as President of NOGS.
Thank you, Dr. Ushali. We are indeed going to have an academic par excellence here under the able leadership of Dr. Gauri. I request Dr. Gauri to introduce us to her team.
So good afternoon everyone, respected seniors, respected people on the dais and of the dais and UGS members. At the outset I would like to congratulate Dr. Varsha Lahade and Dr. Pratima Kanade for a wonderful year 2022-23. They have already set the benchmarks high, and a lot of activities, and they have really put our team to think what more can we do. I mean, we need to take our society higher from where they are, and that is what is, handing over the baton means that you move higher and higher and higher. So thank you Dr. Varsha, thank you Pratima and all the girls of team 2022. I loved being with you in that WhatsApp and with everything, and it was a wonderful year. All of you have worked really hard for this. So coming to the introduction of my team, well, our team is part where we have Dr. Varsha Lahade as the immediate past president, and Dr. Sangeeta Wagh. She is not with us here because she is an avid lover of traveling, and she is in Tokyo watching the flowers there. So Sangeeta is the immediate incoming president for the next year. Yes, and to introduce my secretary, Dr. Mayuri Kelkar, the girl with a smile. And when we got to know each other, I think me, Saudamini and Mayuri were the people who would incessantly laugh and giggle together. And that is Mayuri that I know. And but she is one person that what I have known in the last few months is a person with great perfection, with a great emotional quotient, and I'm so happy to have her. With a special interest in adolescent health and natural birth and vaginal surgeries, and she has a lot of hobbies, mainly dancing and traveling and exploring the unexplored. There was one question that I had put to my team, that where do you see yourself 10 years from now? I was so thrilled and excited and happy to get this answer. Mayuri was the one that said, yes, 10 years from now. I think she deserves an applause. So, may I call my vice presidents, Dr. Ashutosh Thole and Dr. Archana Khairnar, my vice presidents. Can we have you here? Mayuri, can we felicitate them? Yeah. Come, Dr. Ashutosh. His vision is quality academics. So we had everybody to give their vision and their theme that they would like to have. And for people who don't know much about Archana has been the award of the Bhanushali. She's received the Bhanushali award, and much less known is she's a marathon runner. So we have our fitness freaks in our team. So Mayuri, can you please welcome them to our team?
Sir, ikade samor. Yes.
Thank you. I request you to please wait on the side of the stage so that we can have a group photograph at the end. So yes, so we have the RRR of NOGS. No NOGS runs without money and motivation, and so we have Dr. Vasant Kaude as the treasurer, extremely meticulous, and he is the person who has written the who has helped in the writing of the constitution of the NASHIKOBGY Society and streamlining so many things. And so we are so humbled and happy to have you as a member of our team, sir. So we have one more person, Dr. Shekhar Amle. He has promised to come into my team because he was the one who got me back to NOGS. I got lost into my other activities, and he pulled me back. He said, no, you have to come back to Nashik. And so he is with us as the Foxy representative, Dr. Shekhar Amle, excellent laparoscopic surgeon.
Yes.
Our joint secretary, Dr. Nikhil Soname, man of few words, and I forgot the word Nikhil. Oti, I don't remember that any word, but yes, learning a lot of things from Nikhil, the smiling young man, excellent NDVH surgeon. And clinical secretary, Dr. Saudamini Naik. So she is an encyclopedia of Bollywood songs, and she's so quick and she's so fast. Yeah, I mean sometimes I can't keep pace with her thinking. And my managing team. So we have Dr. Aparna Pawar. So Aparna is working in high risk obstetrics. She loves traveling, is also into infertility practice. And she is Dr. Aparna Pawar. Most of us know her as, daughter-in-law of Appa Sahib Pawar, wife of Samir Pawar, but this time I said, we want to know what is Aparna Pawar, and that is why she is in our team. So we also want to invite Dr. Shrikala Kakadkar. She is the one, she's going to digitalize our society. So Shrikala and Nikhil and Ashutosh, they are going to get NOGS digitalized this year. And she is the one who is responsible for that Facebook Live that we all are today. Dr. Pooja Kadam. Yeah, can we have Dr. Pooja Kadam? Yeah, into cosmetic and laparoscopic surgery, and she wants to bring new work styles. So watch out, NOGS, we're going to have some new work styles here. And Dr. Veena Dosani. Yeah, she has been a topper at the DGO, and again, our ever smiling young lady. So our co-ops are going to be Dr. Mayuri Kelkar, who is also into high-risk pregnancy, and she is also into trekking. So we have a fitness team here. And Dr. Nitin Patil. So can we have both of them come ahead? So one more NDVH surgeon, Dr. Nitin Patil. So we have so much potential in our youngsters. And nothing without advice. So can the team come slightly this end, making place for them? Yeah. So we have Dr. Varsha Baste, who has taken our society into Foxy. Now she is our first contestant for Foxy elections for Vice President. And she has been the IIT to Maka. She's a laparoscopic and infertility expert. Can I also call on Dr. Chandrakant Sankleja? Any problem, we can just run to him and he has some answer for it. And he is going to be responsible for monetization of NOGS for this year. And he has taken on the Manyata project for all of us, and he is going to guide us through this. Dr. Sujata Kulkarni, extremely meticulous, and her vision for NOGS is united we stand, divided we fall. And she wants to see this NOGS family continue to grow like this. Dr. Yashwant Patil, he is, I think he was not going to be here because he is a part of WealthCon, but now he is also part of HealthCon. So he is on his health mission and he is on a trek today. So I said, yeah, health is also equally important, so we have excused him. And we have Dr. Prashant Shete, our nodal person from NMC, and who is going to help us with a lot of administrative work, and also he has promised us many activities throughout the year. So he is our nodal authority for everything. So I think he requires all of those good applause for all. And our theme for this year is quality, happiness and safety. All of them form a part of, because there is no happiness without quality and safety, and this is the logo that my team has put together, and this vision is a collective vision of all of us. So can all of us come here and have one picture? Can you please come forward?
success. So we are sure that the upcoming team will work together to make the year a success as well. A hearty congratulations and best wishes to Dr. Gauri and her team for the upcoming year. I request the newly installed President, Dr. Gauri, to kindly address the audience now.
So, I'm supposed to. Well, I was not really aware that there is something that the protocol demands that the incoming president makes an address. So, yeah, I mean, it is different to stand as a president of an association here. So, respected Sule Madam, respected Dr. Pandya, dear Chief Guest Dr. Jaydeep Tank, Honorable Trustees of the NASHIKOBGY Association, Dr. Varsha Lahadi and my dear NOGS members. It is with humility and pride that I address today's meeting. I pray to the Almighty, the divine forces, my parents, my teachers and my life mentor, Bamsar. This medal is really very special. It gives a very different feeling. It is carrying the glories and reputation of the past. It is ensuring the responsibility of the present, and it also carries the message that what you do today is going to be the future of this association. As Abraham Lincoln rightly said, and in the end, it's not the years in your life that counts, it's the life in your years. And thank you all for trusting me to this position and giving me this opportunity to put my life into NOGS. Thank you so much, all of you. I am indeed blessed to have Dr. Sule Madam here. I started my work in Nashik with Dr. Sule and Dr. Ratnabarki, as I just passed my MD and they were the first ones to trust me with their hospital. And I was like aghast, how can I manage your hospital? I've just passed my MD. And they trusted me. They said, no, we know where you have come from and what you are. And they trusted me and they let me put my first step into Nashik. I'm really indebted to you, ma'am. And I'm so happy that she agreed to come. I know Dr. Ratnabarki would have also loved to come, but yeah, we know that he is not well. I would like to tell people that, Dr. Sule, she has been the founder secretary of the Nashik Association. For people who don't know, Nashik OBGY Society was started way back when ma'am finished her post-graduation and came to Nashik. And that was a time when she had to struggle to get 10 members to form the Nashik OBGY Society. And she was a founder secretary, and I think Dr. Patankar was a founder president of Nashik OBGY Association. So ma'am, when we started with 10 and now with this number, I think you must be feeling really proud and happy about what you have done. Thank you so much for starting this for us. Yes, and when Shilpa asked me what's the best thing that you think that has happened in your life, when I look back, I mean, Shilpa really made me think, that about myself. I had not thought about myself so much. But when I thought about it, I thought the best thing that has happened to me in my life, that I have met the right people at the right time when I really needed them. Dr. Sunita Sankleja and me have been friends for years. But now for the last few months, we've been known each other so much. And she was the one, we want Dr. Pandya sometime. I said, why sometime? It is this time and let's have him. If he is available today, we will have the installation and we will have Dr. Pandya here today. We are really thankful, sir, for coming here and being a part of this gathering. And we have seen how actively he has been into obstetric anesthesia and all his thoughts, the smallest things that you checked in the morning, he showed you as a video as where if the mother is in the ICU, they're even thinking of the lactation and the bonding and showing videos of the baby to the ill mother. So to that core, you have thought about the mother. Thank you so much, sir, for being here. Dr. Jaydeep, we have known him as a registrar, but now he is the Dr. Jaydeep. Dr. Jaydeep Tank, the Foxy President-elect. As a friend and as a Foxian, we are very proud of you, Jaydeep. Thank you for being here and thank you for your always, very crisp, very to the mark and excellent academician, with a futuristic approach, excellent administrative skills, and he is the digital man of Foxy. All the touch buttons that we do and we go for our Foxy elections, it is his effort that we are voting from our places. So initially we used to get those envelopes home and then some would not reach and whatever. They have really digitalized everything for Foxy and we are really grateful for that. So we are looking forward for another vibrant year from you, Jaydeep. So all the best for that as well. So as like I mentioned, NOGS and me were born together 50 years ago. And 50 years ago, when I was born, Dr. Sule was delivering NOGS. She was the obstetrician who was getting NOGS into this world. So now, ma'am, after this year 2023, 22 and 23, I just want to put some few plans that we have made for this year. Like our society is growing, and just on the basis of how Foxy is, Foxy has an administrative wing, they have an academic wing, they have a social wing. So we thought we'll just think on all those lines, and it's not me alone, it's my entire team who has come together to put all these plans on the PPT today. So one thing is that we are going to think about is we want to upgrade our website, we want to streamline office systems, we want standardization of basic care, and that is where our monetization is coming, and I'm sure we will try to get as many centers, standardized care in our centers. Making protocols for OBGY practitioners. There were a lot of questions and suggestions which came from junior members, where they wanted to be inclusive. And when we were choosing our team, we tried to see that we have, people, or we have members from all age groups who are forming a part of our committee, so that we try and get ideas and representation of everyone. So they were the ones who said we want to make protocols. We need to have some fundraising activities, and I'm sure Dr. Shivdev will be very happy with that point. And also moving towards a more medical legally safe association. I think I'll leave that job to talk about the last sentence to Dr. Nikhil Sonawane. So for academics, I see, I remember. So we have webinars in place, I hear, I know. So we have CMEs, and what I do, I understand that is today is like workshops. So we want to have a number of workshops this year, and we have a lot of workshops planned every year. All will not be paid, some will be unpaid as well. But yeah, so we'll have, today's was on the obstetric emergency situations, then one on neurocontractives. We have one on a simulation workshop on ultrasound, and a cadaveric workshop in pipeline, and also on fertility outcomes. And we have Dr. Yashwant Patil, who is going to try and guide us all on how we should manage our wealth, and with us our wealth also should grow. And the highlights, I will not go through the whole list, but yeah, we have a lot of things, activities that are planned right from May to March, and some more in pipeline, and Jaydeep has also promised us some more activities and workshops in the pipeline that are going to come. But the major activities is June, we are going to have the AMOX conference. July, we have kept it light for a picnic. Then August, we are going to have an adolescent health training with the WHO protocols. September, we are going to have a conference on demystifying the polysisters. And October, Dr. Baste ma'am is working for the FIGO Paris, trying to take us all to Paris this year. And November, we are having a CME on molecules of life. December is our annual conference. And January, the Mumbai OBGY Society has planned a collaboration meet with us. So we will be having a collaboration meet with them. And February is cancer prevention, and March we will be having an International Adolescent Health Week, and we will have an Adolescent Health Week in Nashik as well. So a lot of activities other than academic coming up, and Dr. Archana Khaidnar and her team are working for this project on Bleed Green, and soon we will be coming up with this project on menstrual hygiene and Bleed Green project and other activities as well. So our team has made some goals to make it more professional, make it more digital, and especially with Foxy Digital Man, we have to change our gears, and we want to now move from local to being global. We know that we are now into the category A of Foxy because in the number of members. But you know what? I was reading a book by James Clear, Atomic Habits. It's a very nice example. He said, you keep ice at 22 degrees and it stays at that. At 22 degrees, stays in the same state till it is up to 32 degrees. Suddenly at 32 degrees, it starts melting. So Jaydeep, I can tell you that NASHIKOBGY society is that ice cube, which at the moment, we have seen only little trickle, but now we will see a blast. that we will see our members on international platforms, national platforms. I think we are just getting ready, and Varsha Vaste has already put the flag that she's going to go for Foxy Prize President. So we are trying to make a mark everywhere. So we are going to be like, watch out India, Nashik is on its way to grow. So we look, that is our vision, that our members should be seen everywhere with their skills. We have so many talented members in our society which we think which require more, I think, more recognition. The theme for this year is happiness through quality and safety. And when we are dealing with safety, we are dealing with something which is very exclusive, and the exclusive gift of nature, that is, we are dealing with women. And why are women exclusive? Because women have been given the exclusive art of creation. Creation is only given to women, and we are taking care of the creators of this world. So when we make our treatment choices, our behavior with patients, our ethics, all go together in making our patient choices as well. So we as obstetricians are exclusive medical professionals and are responsible in a way, not only for her today, but for tomorrow and also for future generations to come. We are role models for many of our patients. So our social behavior and actions are being watched very closely, not only by our patients, by our families, and also by the government. So we have a lot of registrations and acts and everything coming in, and I think with the help of Foxy, we will definitely sail through and we will have something positive coming out of all this. When I was given this responsibility that you are president-elect, I was really wondering, what is this? What am I going to do? And I went to AICUG, I saw there's a big samudra, so many people are coming and so many societies, what am I going to do with all this? I mean, how can I even do anything? There's so much to do, and there is so many things are happening all over the world. So where do I stand there? And then I heard Dr. Rishikesh Pai, Foxy President, he put his theme as Badlav, and I visited Belur Math. Belur Math is the place where Swami Vivekananda, there is a museum and where he has lived and got his Diksha. And there I got the words, once more the world must be conquered by India. This is my dream, and each one of you must carry this dream. India with a rich cultural and spiritual background can lead the world. Arise, awake, and stop not till the goal is reached. Every small step I take in the right direction is my minuscule contribution to this country. And with this positive thought, I came back. Dr. Prashant Purandare, we bought rasgullas there, but I also got this thought back home from there. And this with Rishikesh Pai's Badla and everything got me to think that yes, whatever little I can do for NOGS will be my contribution for this society. But I urge all my members that we are being watched by society and by everyone. So we have to set good standards for ourselves and also introspect on ourselves as how we are being portrayed. Anyway, so any small change, whether it is a positive change in quality of our practice, quality of our personal life, safety of practice or safety of life, happiness of practice or happiness in our families, everything is equally important, and that's why we put this theme together. A big thank you to all the guests, the faculty, members, my hospital staff, my patients, my friends, my teachers, my family, my sisters, Soham, my husband, for being with me and bringing me here and helping me to walk on this path. My team and me need your continued support and blessings. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, ma'am. We look forward to gain abundantly in your tenure. By the way, Saili, how was your experience writing down a consent in a vernacular language?
Don't even ask. The thought of it scares me even now. And I guess it scares many of us even here today. Doesn't it?
Well, to take away your apprehensions and fears, I call upon Dr. Nikhil Sonawne, the Joint Secretary.
म्हणून मी मराठीतच सुरू करतो. जयदीप सर, पांड्या सर, सुळे मॅम, लहाडे मॅम, करंदीकर मॅम, कानडे मॅडम आणि सर्व. ॲक्च्युली जेव्हा फर्स्ट मीटिंग झाली त्यावेळेस असं युनिफॉर्मली सगळ्यांच्या तर्फे एकच गोष्ट निघाली की वी शुड हॅव युनिफॉर्म कन्सेंट्स, की कन्सेंटच्या संदर्भात डिस्कशन झालं, ह्या हॉस्पिटलची ती कन्सेंट प्रोसेस आहे, त्या हॉस्पिटलची ती कन्सेंट प्रोसेस आहे, रादर ह्या शहराची ती कन्सेंट प्रोसेस आहे, दुसऱ्या शहराची ती वेगळी कन्सेंट प्रोसेस आहे. सो असं विचार आला की एकच युनिफॉर्म काहीतरी असावं. त्यावेळेस मॅडम म्हटलं की आपल्याकडे ऑलरेडी युनिफॉर्म कन्सेंट्स आहेत. फॉक्सीने ऑलरेडी आपल्यासाठी युनिफॉर्म कन्सेंट्स बनवून ठेवल्या होत्या. ऑब्विसली ते नॅशनल बॉडी असल्यामुळे ते इंग्रजी माध्यमातून होत्या. मग असं ठरलं की आपल्या पेशंटला एवढं सगळं समजावून सांगणं हे जरा थोडंसं डिफिकल्ट होईल. मग असं ठरलं की आपण हे मराठीत करावं. सो दॅट आता ह्या मराठीत करण्यामागचा प्रायमरी उद्देश असा होता की कुठची प्रोसिजर आपण करतो सर्वप्रथम ते पेशंटला माहिती असावं की ही प्रोसिजर अशी होणार आहे, ह्या प्रोसिजरचे हे फायदे आहेत, ह्या प्रोसिजरचे हे नुकसान आहे, आणि त्यांना हे पूर्णपणे व्यवस्थित समजावं. एक. आणि मग सेकंडली त्याचा असा झाला की त्याचा लिगल आस्पेक्ट पण होईल. ज्यावेळेस नाशिक सोसायटी म्हणा किंवा सर्व जेव्हा युनिफॉर्मली एकच कन्सेंट वापरू तर एक स्टँडर्डायझेशन होईल. एक पेशंट कुठे जरी गेला तरी त्याला समजेल की हीच प्रोसिजर अशाच पद्धतीने होणार आहे. ते एक युनिफॉर्मिटी आणि एक लिगल आस्पेक्ट पण राहील की ज्यावेळेस इट इज रिकॉग्नाइज्ड ऑर एंडोर्स्ड बाय एनओजीएस ऑर फॉक्सी. हा एक उद्देश होता. म्हणून आम्ही याचं संमतीपत्र करावं असं ठरलं. आणि हे संमतीपत्र करताना आम्हाला वाटलं की आहे ते ट्रान्सलेट करायचं आणि काम संपलं. पण मग ज्या मिनिटाला ते गुगल साहेबांना टाकलं तर त्यांनी काहीतरी भलतंच गोष्टीचे ट्रान्सलेशन सुरू केलं. मग ते आम्हाला, मी आहे मराठी माध्यमाचं, मलाच कळत नव्हतं की हे काय आहे. म्हणजे ते मराठी माध्यमातले जसे काही गळू किंवा डिंबग्रंथी ह्याचा अर्थ काय हे शोधायला पण गुगल शोधायला लागलं. आणि तर मग आहे वाटलं सुरुवातीला थोडंसं इझी होईल पण ते तेवढं इझी नव्हतं. मग सगळे जे कन्सेंट्स होते ते डिव्हाइड झाले आमच्या ग्रुपमध्ये. सर्वांनी पुन्हा ते ट्रान्सलेट केले. ट्रान्सलेट केल्यानंतर ते परत प्युरिफिकेशनसाठी इकडे गेले. इकडनं प्युरिफाय होऊन परत ते इकडे आले. इकडे झाल्यानंतर ते परत प्युरिफाय झाले, परत इकडे गेले. इकडून मग ते इकडे गेले सरांकडे, फॉक्सीकडे गेले. फॉक्सीने मग त्याला आम्हाला म्हटलं की यू गो हेड. मग परत त्याचं पेज सेटिंग आणि हे सगळं करत फायनली ते एकदा फॉक्सीकडे गेला आणि वी हॅड अ वर्ड ऑफ ॲप्रिसिएशन फ्रॉम फॉक्सी. आणि वी थँक डॉक्टर अल्पेश सर, डॉक्टर पटेल सर, डॉक्टर दातार सर, डॉक्टर वाळके सर ज्यांनी आम्हाला एनओजीएसला परमिशन दिली हे ट्रान्सलेट करण्यासाठी. बिकॉज इट्स अ लिगल डॉक्युमेंट. वी थँक ॲज अ एनओजीएस टीम टू त्यांना. आणि त्यांना हे पुन्हा ट्रान्सलेट केल्यानंतर परत त्यांना पाठवल्यानंतर त्यांनी परत ते स्कॅनिंग रिस्कॅनिंग करून आम्हाला परत पाठवलं. त्याच्याबद्दलही त्यांचे धन्यवाद. थँक्यू. सो आय रिक्वेस्ट जयदीप सर टू इनॉग्रेट दी.
सर इकडे समोर. थँक्यू.
थँक्यू सो मच.
Thank you so much. That's indeed an amazing work done. शुरुआत ही ऐसी है तो आगे क्या क्या होगा?
पिक्चर अभी बाकी है मेरे दोस्त. I now request Dr. Varsha Baste ma'am to introduce our today's chief guest, Dr. Jaydeep Tank.
We are the best. In संस्कार, in fellowship, in standard of our academic excellence. नाशिकचे लोक छान आहे, नाशिकचे हवा पाणी छान आहे आणि आपले एनर्जी इज द बेस्ट. So let me introduce Dr. Jaydeep Tank, our President-elect. He is the President-elect for 2024 to 25. He was the Secretary General for FOXY for 3 years. And now he is project lead for FOXY USAID project for 4 years. He was the past President of MOGS, Mumbai immediate past Deputy Secretary and now Committee Chair of AFOM. Immediate past Chair, Safe Abortion Committee, Vigo. Awarded Honorary FRCOG by Royal College of Obstetrician and Gynaecologist. And the first and so far only Indian to hold post in local society like MOGS, National Society, FOXY, Regional Federation, FOB, and Global Federation FIGO, all at the same time. But what is important, as our President already told us, he has contributed in electronic membership management system and e-voting for FOXY. So I am very much relieved because there will be no problem for my voting as Vice President. No vote dene, you have to give 2 votes. Otherwise the machine won't accept and your voting will be confirmed only done properly. Then developing completely redrafted user-friendly constitution for FOXY is his motto and he is doing it. He has contributed and led the development of FOXY statements on cesarean rates, hysterectomy rates, contraceptive implants, ART bill, surrogacy bill and other many bills. And he has also contributed in intervention in Supreme Court on PCPNDT, oxytocin case and others. He is instrumental in restructuring the FOXY cells, the minutes of FOXY MCM and GBM and several other initiatives to his credit. With this brief introduction, may I present you, ladies and gentlemen, the most humble, the most grounded, the most approachable and the most human, our President-elect, Dr. Jaydeep Tank.
I must say, very, very generous introduction. If I knew you were going to introduce me so nicely, I would have made sure my wife was here. Let me begin by congratulating, I'm going to call you Sanjeevni only. It's very difficult to get used to the new name. In fact, I was just telling him that in my phone you are saved as Mayuri Kelkar. So I'm sort of trying to organize both the words. Congratulations and what a fantastic job with the uniform consents. Just to update you, what we are now doing with the uniform consents is putting it on the website in a searchable format. So you don't have to carry the book around. If you go to the FOXY website, you'll be able to search for cesarean and download only that consent. And it will be in a searchable format, so you don't have to go through all the consents all the time. So you should definitely send this PDF so that we can include it in Marathi also. Congratulations, Varsha, for a fantastic year. And as I was just telling them, I have a very soft corner for secretaries. I was secretary of FOXY for 3 years, which is longer than I will be the president of FOXY. So congratulations. And I must also thank Sule madam. Madam, you must be feeling so happy today. You started with 10 members, there are 350 plus. And I heard that Sanjeevni was also born in the same year as the Nashik society. It's a good thing you have only one child. Let me also acknowledge the presence of so many of my friends, when I visit any society, I try to take the names of everybody I know there. But when I come to Nashik, that's rather difficult because I have so many friends, I'll have to read out your entire roster. But I must acknowledge Varsha, all the very best, Varsha, and we hope to see you in leadership position in Foxy soon. Thank you, Shekhar, for all the minute-to-minute coordination and making sure I'm here. And I can see Desle, Madam, Sir, really old relationships. Now I understand I'm standing between you and lunch. And Sanjeevni had told me, Gauri had told me that I'm supposed to speak for 20 minutes. And then when I came here, Dr. Varsha Baste said that I was supposed to introduce you in 2 minutes, but I'm going to take 5 minutes. So I said, all right, then even I'm going to speak for 25 minutes. So I'm going to speak on modern obstetrics and how we got there. And I'm not going to speak that much about the science of obstetrics. I'm going to approach it from a different perspective. A perspective of what influences the way we practice obstetrics today. And I strongly believe that the way we practice obstetrics today, I'm just marking the time so that I know when to stop. Okay. The way we practice obstetrics today is not based only in medicine. I strongly believe it is based on narratives. I attend a lot of meetings as Secretary General of Foxy, and a lot of times I meet activists, I meet people from NGOs, I meet policy makers, I meet advocates for women's health. And every time I meet them, I get this feeling that they are telling me, let me interrupt your expertise, that is us obstetricians' expertise, with their confidence. And sometimes I feel like telling them, you've not delivered a single woman in your life. You've not stood in front of a woman in lithotomy position with blood pouring out of her uterus and you wondering whether she is going to die on you. You have not held a uterus with a placenta perpetuata and been so worried about what will happen next. Until you've not done that, don't really tell me how to do my job. And I think that this situation has come to pass because of narratives. What do I mean by narratives? There is one set of narratives which comes from the media, advocates, policymakers, etc. For example, doctors do too many cesarean sections. For example, doctors do too many hysterectomies. For example, doctors charge too much for their services. But more importantly, there's another set of narratives. And this is the set of narratives we share with our patients. Let me illustrate. You have this patient, you're sitting in your clinic. She's come at 32 weeks to you with her ultrasound color Doppler report. And you tell her you have diabetes, you have hypertension. The ultrasound shows that you have marked IUGR with oligoamnios and there are Doppler changes. I'm sure all of you had patients like this. The patient and her relatives are sitting in front of you, looking expectantly at you, and then you are looking expectantly at them. And what is the first thing which comes out of their mouth? But baki sabla theek hai. Now what do you say? You say, in your mind you are thinking, Ata yavda enough nahi. But what do you say? You say, oh, baki sabla theek hai. And this is a problem. Because every time in the antenatal period, when you tell the patient that you are normal, the patient takes it to mean that I will have a fantastic normal delivery with a 4-kilo baby and my child will come first in 10th standard. So this is the narrative I am talking about. Patients are constantly seeking reassurance and we are constantly giving it to them. And this becomes a problem when something untoward happens, and untoward things will happen in obstetrics. That's the very nature of our profession. When, for example, you have a PPH, you deal with it the best you can, and then you come out and tell the patient, hey Zala, I did this is what you can expect. The first thing which patient will tell you is, but तुम्ही तर सांगत होते सगळं normal होतं. And that is why I think when we talk about narratives, the narrative of reassurance has to now be tinged with the narrative of reality. Now I understand that this is a very difficult line to walk. You don't want the patient scared throughout her pregnancy about what will happen in labor. But at the same time, you don't want her blissfully ignorant either. Which is why I quite like this statement by Marsden Wagner. She was a midwife and she wrote this in the Lancet in 2000. She said, nowhere is maternal mortality or perinatal mortality zero. And throughout history, women have accepted this harsh reality. Until recently when doctors, and I'm going to paraphrase here, I don't think it's only the doctors, I think it's the entire healthcare ecosystem. This promise from fancy hospitals about having tinkling bells and waterfalls while you're delivering and all that raises expectations to a completely unreal level. So when the health ecosystem began to promise perfection, and now when something goes wrong, women and families feel deceived and seek answers. And that is why in modern obstetrics, the narratives have to change. After all, where do patients get their information on? This is a Google search I did for childbirth. So if you type childbirth and do a Google search, look at the number of results. 69,800,000 results. How in the world is the patient supposed to make any sense of this? How is she supposed to differentiate between authentic, inauthentic information? No wonder patients think that childbirth is very complex. And in fact, childbirth is complex. Which should lead us to ask the question, why is human childbirth complex? Why can't we be like horses or elephants or giraffes who go into a quiet corner of the jungle and drop their foals? The reason is that childbirth in humans is a solution to an evolutionary problem because we are biped. So how do women deliver a relatively large fetal head through a relatively small pelvis, which is required for us to stand upright? And that's why human birth is a feat which involves a very intricate set of events. You will all remember oxon foot and the mechanism of labor diagrams. That is why our science actually, typically saying in terms of organized science, is relatively new. Women have been delivering since millennia, but it was always considered to be something quite mysterious and in a way little taboo also. So it was not until the 17th century that accoucheurs, male midwives, became fashionable in France. This reached Britain in the 17th century, and the first formal school of midwifery in the world, which was in London, was founded as late as 1725. Now consider the fact that physicians and surgeons have had associations much before that. And you'll realize that obstetricians are a relatively new species in subspecialties. In fact, Smellie was the first one in 1739 to start midwifery courses, and he used to take a 2-year course of midwifery lectures for 20 guineas, which is 2,000 Indian rupees. The British College, which was the first college of obstetrics and gynecology, was established in 1928. And the science started evolving, C-section started coming in, instrumental vaginal delivery started happening. But what really created a change was the introduction of the Apgar score. And in fact, the Apgar score, which I believe completely changed the way we practice obstetrics, was devised by a pediatrician, Vijaya Sule. She was anesthetist? Okay. I was under the impression, my wife is a pediatrician, she told me she's a pediatrician. So you have to listen to whatever. So this score was published in 1953 and it transformed child delivery. Why did it transform child delivery? Because it took an abstract concept. Child was born well, not born well, little sick, not too much sick, and gave it a number. And when you give a number to something, you inevitably create comparisons. And these comparisons started becoming used as a benchmark for how well you were performing. So obstetricians everywhere started saying, I have to have good ABGAs. And when the healthcare industry started looking at this, they started asking the question, can childbirth then be standardized? We've always thought of obstetrics as an art and a science. But here, because of the fact that now you had a tangible number to compare, the question started being asked, can childbirth be standardized? Which of course raised the big question, is obstetrics craft or industry? Because if it's an industry, then you focus on reliability. But if it's a craft, then you accept that things will not always work out in everyone's hands. And this is something which people are increasingly unwilling to accept. As I said, 4 kilo chahiye, normal chahiye, or 10th mein first aana chahiye. That's why the whole shift started towards measuring outcomes, and in a bid to improve outcomes and reduce morbidity and mortality, we started doing more cesareans. In fact, at a certain point, this started hitting the eye. And someone like Barbara Harper wrote this. We used to see birth as a miracle and only mess with it if there's a problem. Now, we see birth as a problem, and if we don't mess with it, it's a miracle. Which sounds very nice to hear, but is in fact a very irrational statement. I would say this is a very anti-obstetrician statement. But this came about because obstetricians typically do not follow evidence-based medicine. Now it may surprise you given the fact that we do so many CMEs, but if you look at a 1978 ranking of medical specialties, you'll find that for following evidence-based practice, obstetricians came last. Consider how many randomized controlled trials did we do before we started doing NSTs for everybody? How many randomized controlled trials did the Chamberlains do before they started introducing instrumental vaginal deliveries with the forceps and vacuum? I can tell you, not a single one. And yet, these have now become standard of care. So, the whole question is, what about evidence in obstetrics? Now the problem with generating evidence in obstetrics is that it is so multifactorial and there are so many variables that you can't possibly standardize evidence. And that is why, despite the lack of evidence, we continue to have better outcomes. But still someone could get up and say, where's your evidence? And this was a problem, and that's why we now come to what is modern obstetric practice. So the narratives, the lack of evidence, and this historical background of trying to standardize childbirth has, in my view, given rise to what is modern obstetric practice, which consists of pre-pregnancy planning, antenatal care, delivery, and post-delivery care. But the modern obstetrician doesn't have only this much to deal with. We also have to deal with natural birth and the demand for natural birth. Honestly speaking, I have never understood what a natural birth is. How can a birth be unnatural? If somebody is delivering, that birth is natural, no? If she would not to deliver, then it would be unnatural. Natural birth, the demand for zero risk, increasing need for infrastructure, legal, and of course, Uncle Google, as was referred to just now, TMI, that's too much information. And all this has led to two major things which influence modern obstetrics. Caesarean rates and what I like to call the over-preciousness surrounding motherhood. I've got around 7 minutes left, Sanjeevani, but I'm going to take a little longer if you don't mind. I'm going to talk first about cesarean rates. And the question that we need to ask ourselves is, what's the controversy? Is there an ideal rate, and what's the way forward? The whole controversy started when the WHO published this in Lancet, which said there's no justification for any region to have section rates higher than 10 to 15%. The question is this true? Because if you look at practice, you'll find that there are actually only 3 countries in the world, only 3, which actually have a section rate between 10 and 15%. All the countries which have good maternal mortality rates have much higher section rates. And all the countries which have poor, very poor maternal mortality rates have much lower section rates. And then, of course, this WHO statement gave rise to a whole industry where people started making petitions online, safe birth, normal delivery, anti-cesarean. First I thought, what is nuchal thickness cesarean? Then I realized he's forgotten to put the O. Normal delivery is forgotten, cesarean only option for ladies. What I would like you to notice is the number of supporters these petitions received. If you look at that one, it received 7 supporters, which means the public was not really interested about cesarean and normal deliveries, but then this petition came. This petition, and I would urge you to read this, is like a Karan Johar movie. It's extremely emotionally manipulative. You know how Karan Johar and Suraj Barjatya movies, they family, and then you start crying and all that. Something like this. I was manipulated, my choice was overridden, and this and that and the other. No mention on the fact that at the end she and baby are safe. And look at the number of supporters this got. This petition also came in the news. The news started calling doctors as reckless, profiteering hospitals, and started asking for regulation to monitor cesarean rates. And I'm sure all of you know 3 laws of Newton, but there's a very important 4th law which says for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction plus a social media overreaction. And in a classic case of overreaction, our Honorable Minister at that time, Srimati Menka Gandhi, tweeted that doctors are doing too many sections, those who do too many sections should be named and shamed, and that the percentage of C-section should be 10 to 15%. The government of Maharashtra took a note of this and constituted a committee to regulate C-sections in the private sector, and I was invited to make a presentation to that committee. And this is what I told them, that the 10 to 15% rate is actually not valid, because 10 to 15% has correlation only with mortality. It simply does not talk about morbidity, and it doesn't talk about morbidity because there is no data available on morbidity. The methodology of arriving at that 10 to 15% was extremely problematic, and in fact there is new data to show that even for mortality 10 to 15% is simply too low. So it basically boils down to the problem of inadequate data, because 10 to 15% correlated only with mortality and there was no mention of morbidity there. If you look at Indian data, newspapers always say we are doing 80% C-sections, but look at the data. At a population level, the cesarean section rate of India for NFHS 4 was 17.2%, much lower than what is recommended. In fact, if you look at the map, district level map, you'll see, and I'm not being political here, but most of the country is saffron, which means that most of the country actually has too low C-sections, which could explain why our maternal mortality was not falling as fast as it should. Even in the states which are supposed to have too many sections, the section rate was actually quite low. When you look at NFHS 5, which is the recent data, you'll see there's hardly any change in section rates between the 2 surveys. So although media started talking about alarming trend, I was called for an interview and I told them that the NFHS data is based on data from less than 0.1% of households in a given state, and you're extrapolating that to the entire state. So, in fact, and this comes from one of the authors of that original Lancet statement, the time has come to put the debate about the preferable rate of CS on hold. And the WHO statement reiterates it. This is the new WHO statement which came out a few years back, and look at the headline of that statement. It says every effort should be made to provide C-sections to women in need rather than striving to achieve a specific rate. And yet our policy makers continue to insist that we should have a specific rate. So is there a recommended rate for C-section? The short answer is no. You can't have a specific rate for C-section, and in fact therefore it leads me to believe that all this which has appeared in the media is simply column inches, ill-informed at best, malicious at worst. There have been court cases which have told the Supreme Court, please regulate doctors. Luckily, this case was filed before Justice Gogoi. He threw out the case and he penalized that advocate who had fined 25,000 rupees for wasting the court's time. Thankfully, the courts realized that they can't really tell us how to do our job. But what is a very real problem is this. I think cesarean sections are getting stigmatized. They are being looked down upon. This leads to things like that one. Man watches online video to his gentleman's wife was a second para. She had a very nice first delivery, so he thought, "Isme kya hai? YouTube dekh ke main bhi kar lunga." So he tried to deliver her at home after watching YouTube videos. Unfortunately, she developed obstructed labor. She had an IUFD. She had then severe PPH, and by the time they reached the hospital, the woman died. And I'm really concerned that this stigmatization is going to cause more and more such problems in the future. And this is what I had tweeted. Rhetoric has replaced sometimes even dangerously what is best for the woman. Don't just keep on talking about commercialization without understanding the nuance behind C-section rates. And the UK actually, Manjiri, if you are listening, has seen a bit of a swing in the pendulum. There have been recent scandals surrounding poor outcomes at birth. And what they are now saying is there's no such thing as a normal birth. Every birth experience is different. In fact, now they are saying that we shouldn't call it normal anymore. We should call it vaginal or C-section. And this is going to be one of the first things that I'm going to do as FOXY President. I'm going to bring out a glossary of appropriate terms. Because I think that this causes a lot of stigma. If I look at those headlines, top midwives says sorry for lives lost to normal birth drive. Of course, I'm not contesting that, or I'm not contending everybody should have a section, but there's no need to stigmatize C-sections also. And that's why I had the good fortune of drafting the FOXY statement on cesarean rates. It's there on the website, please take a look at it. And essentially what we are trying to say is, let's follow the Robson's criteria and collect data. And let's collect data in the Robson's criteria. So that meeting which I talked to you about, that committee, Dr. Meg was there. I had gone for one meeting with Dr. Nandita and another meeting with Dr. Meg. Ultimately, they saw our point. And after they saw our point, they said that, all right, let's collect data. So now they've given us 3 years to collect data. And then once we analyze that data, they will tell us what to do next. Sanjeevani, I'm almost done. 2 minutes. Let me finish by talking a little bit about this, the over-preciousness surrounding motherhood. You know, I've been in private practice since 1997 now. And over the years, I've seen changes in pregnant women who come to me. And I don't know whether you read this article, it appeared in Time magazine. It was called The Goddess Myth. And it talked about the pressures which pregnant women face in the modern era. We always think that we are under pressure, but think about the pregnant woman. Every morning she gets those WhatsApp messages, be healthy, be calm, Otherwise your child will not do well. Never in the history of being told to keep calm has made anybody calm. Ever. Imagine the stress she's under. You know, I had this patient and every time she used to come with four or five relatives. Husband, father-in-law, mother-in-law, father and mother. Every time, starting from 6 weeks of gestation. And she used to have some complaint or another every 2 weeks. So every 2 weeks that whole gang used to show up at my clinic. I was wondering, yaar ye log kaam karte hain, bill kaise bharenge? Finally, one day, I told them that, you know, I understand you all are coming out of concern. But you know, all of you are sitting here, you all are all asking me questions, you're not letting her ask me any question. And you're not really helping, you're suffocating the poor thing. So why don't you all go out and let me talk to the patient and husband alone? So the patient was so happy. And you know what she asked me? She said, "Doctor, my sister-in-law is also pregnant. But she vomits 6 times a day. I only vomit twice a day. Is that okay?" And I had to tell her, "Baba, it's not a competition." And that is what I like to call the over-preciousness surrounding motherhood or the goddess thing. And that is why, again, let me come back to what I started with, the narrative. We want to reassure, yes, but we also want to bring in a tinge of realism. And it's a delicate line because you tell them too much, PPH ho sakta hai, perineal tear ho sakta hai, ye ho sakta hai, wo ho sakta hai, they will spend the next 9 months petrified. But at the same time, you want them to be prepared if anything goes wrong. And that's why the hallmark of labor management should be individualized care for laboring women with the expectation of a successful and safe delivery, together with the ability to intervene with the cesarean delivery. Let's, for God's sake, not stigmatize C-sections. A woman who undergoes a C-section sometimes feels like a failure. I couldn't achieve a normal delivery. She has been conditioned to believe that a normal delivery is the pinnacle of womanhood. And if you can't deliver normally, then what good is your uterus and vagina? So together with the ability to intervene with the cesarean delivery if needed to prevent morbidity and mortality, after all, we want to look forwards with hope and not backwards with regret, because history is her story too. Thank you very much.
I have no words to express. So let's have a look at what they say.
I would like Dr. Gauri ma'am to felicitate Dr. Jaydeep Tank sir for sparing his precious time today.
I now request Dr. Varsha to felicitate Dr. Sunil Pandya. Dr. Mayuri to felicitate Dr. Vijaya Sule.
Wait. Yes, ma'am.
I now request Dr. Sunil Pandya to felicitate our faculty who have spared their precious time for us. Dr. Kausalya Chakravarti, Dr. Sunita Sanklecha, Dr. Hitendra Mahajan and Dr. Kopikar. Can you have them on the dais, please?
Hello, ma'am. Ma'am, look here. Look here. Wait. Thank you. Hello, ma'am. Wait. Thank you. Thank you.
Have a look at what our well-wishers have to say who could not be here with us today.
Installation, but I am going to be with you in spirit. I have known Dr. Gauri Karandikar personally ever since she has stepped into Nashik and also as a member of NOGS, and we have had many occasions of working together. I think under her able leadership, the NOGS Managing Committee is definitely going to have a very fruitful year. Dr. Gauri is academically very strong, medico-legally absolutely sound, professionally and ethically correct. With her attention to detail, her organizational skills and her networking capabilities, I am sure the Managing Committee is going to do very, very well. She is ably supported by a team of young, enthusiastic and talented secretaries, Dr. Mayuri Kelkar, Dr. Saudamini Naik and Dr. Nikhil Sonami. Her two vice presidents, Dr. Ashutosh Thore and Dr. Archana Khairnar, are going to be her two solid supports. She is also going to be ably supported by Dr. Kaure, the treasurer, Dr. Shekhar Amle, the Foxy representative, Dr. Sangeeta Wagh, president-elect. I, as chairman of the NOGS Trust, and with all my trustees, we are always there to help her whenever she needs us. And so with this, I want to wish Dr. Gauri and her team all the very best for the next year. I will end with a small message. Work together, work in unison and work as a team, and your success will be boundless. Thank you very much and wishing you good luck.
Good afternoon, everybody. Respected Chief Guest Dr. Jaydeep Tank sir, our guest of honors Dr. Vijaya Sule and Dr. Sunil Pandya. First, I wish to congratulate Dr. Gauri Karandikar, President NOGS, Dr. Mayuri Kelkar, Secretary NOGS, for taking over as President and Secretary of this active and vibrant society. I highly appreciate their theme of this year is happiness through safety and quality for women and members. I know there are many challenges in front of all of us. First, we have to work 24/7 for women's health is true. But at the same time, we have to look for our members' safety also. And NOGS has its team for members also, which suits to them. And NOGS has promised to do. But always remember a quote in Marathi. Mata surakshit, tar ghar surakshit, ghar surakshit, tar samaj surakshit, samaj surakshit, tar desh surakshit. Hence, I appreciate the NOGS team happiness through safety and quality for women and members. Nashik is an active and vibrant society with the able leadership of Dr. Gauri Karandikar and Dr. Mayuri Kelkar. NOGS will be on the height of academics and social, also in concern with women's health. And just now in June 9, 10th and 11th, NOGS is hosting a prestigious AMOX annual conference in Nashik. We wish every success to this conference. I wish every success to Dr. Gauri Karandikar and Dr. Mayuri Kelkar with the NOGS team for their year to fulfill their dream and theme. Thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you.
I now request Dr. Mayuri to deliver the vote of thanks.
Karandikar for giving me a chance to serve Nashik Obstetrics Gynaecological Society as a secretary for this year. I thank our chief guest for today's function, Dr. Jaydeep Tank, President-elect Foxy, for gracing the occasion. I would also thank our guests of honor, Dr. Vijaya Sule, for honoring today's event, and Dr. Sunil Pandya, who has conducted today's workshop so wonderfully and helped our NOGS to start the new year with a bang. Special thanks to today's faculty, Dr. Kausalya Chakravarti, Dr. Sunita Sanklecha, and Dr. Kopikar. I would like to thank Sun Pharma, Spectra and Senora division for extending their help to make today's event a success. I would like to thank Mr. Parab and Mr. Dilshad from Dragar India and Mr. Nehte and Mr. Patil from Neomed Pharma for providing the anesthesia setup for the workshop. I would also thank Mr. Sagar Jain and Mr. Sagar Yelange for arranging the audio-visual setup. I would like to thank Mr. Rupesh for the logo and Mr. Atak for the help. I would like to thank Mr. Prashant Bore and Advocate Amiya Vaidya for consents. And Mr. Mayur and Mr. Saureen from Ladal for the 4D SIM-MOM. Without all this technical support, today's workshop wouldn't have been as fantastic. I thank our venue partner SSK Solitaire, Mr. Kutte's team, Mr. Praveen for excellent venue. Special mention to Mrs. Sandhya Kelkar, who has so beautifully depicted our Nashik in the memento, and Advocate Avinash Bhide for providing eco-friendly gifts for today's volunteers. Special thanks to our Dr. Vaidruti and Dr. Shwetal, our anesthetist and anesthesia and pediatric residents. I would like to thank all the delegates for giving an overwhelming response to today's workshop and all the members of NOGS who are here for the installation ceremony. The entire team of NOGS for this year look forward to an academically and culturally rich 2023-24. I shall now request everyone to please stand up for the national anthem.